Hello guys, this is Primo here. In today's tutorial video, I'll be going over Destiny board. It's pretty big, so it should last the entirety of the video. I'll explain what's what and things you might need for your release, especially in the beginning. Let's get started. Destiny board has always confused a lot of people, especially the new people. So I'll try and do my best to clarify as much as I can. Okay, we're in Albion. It's kind of slow today. What the hell? Okay, so let me get away from here. It's laggy. So last time I went over where everything is. I did forget to mention one thing, that is about reputation. I think I talked about it for a good second and then I moved on, but I'll clarify that here a bit. So reputation is tricky. They've changed it many times in the past, so right now let's go to stats. Here it is, reputation. So in the last video I mentioned how in the Royal Lands, in Yellow Zone and Red Zone, you can only attack players if you're flagged and hostile, and people who are not flagged and are being attacked have a defensive buff, and that buff is mainly based on reputation. As you can see here, information. You can go below reputation, above reputation. By killing players, you can get negative reputation by like farming mobs, fame farming. Killing flagged players while you're not flagged will get you positive reputation. And as you can see, you have certain access to certain zones with certain reputations. So do be mindful of that. Because for example, this city, this is a red zone city, so is this skull over here on the red. That means if you're dreaded, you will not be able to enter this city. And I don't know exactly how long it takes for you to get the complete the positive reputation. Quite a bit, I'm guessing, because it's the difference of 10,000 and I myself was only barely 10,000, so be careful with that shit. I'll show you the buff that I mentioned. Here you go. For example, I'm a noble. Right here, so I think I get like 7.5% buff or something. Okay, so right now, if I were to go to details, so I have defense versus players 12%, defense versus mob 12%, 9% is coming from here. Okay, 9% is coming from the shield, and then the other 3% is coming from the helmet. If I were to change the shoes, 14%. Alright. This is a red zone, so I'll show you what I mean by defensive buff. Okay, so this is a red zone. And as you can see below my name, as a noble, I get defense versus players 7.5% more defense and 7.5% more CC resist. So to see that, as you can see, it went to 22 and then 7.5 resistance. 7.5 is pretty drastic because one tier is about 10% right now, about around 10%. So it's almost a tier advantage on players who are flagged. Alright, so now that that's clarified, let's get on with the Destiny board. It's quite big. Alright, so this is the Destiny board. This here has everything you can do in game. And I will start from the very first start. So on the release, you'll start here. Right here, so gather 3 rough logs. When you make your character, you go into the game at the very beginning. Gather 3 logs, and you'll move up, and then 3 stones, and then you make a skinning knife with those materials. And be careful and move in this particular step. So gather logs first and then stone. Don't gather stone first, because then it wouldn't count. You have to go in this order that is listed in. Craft this and then kill a rabbit. This is important too. If you don't kill this and you start doing random the other stuff, none of that will count. As long as you're stuck on this until you clear this line up to the center, things won't count for shit, in simple terms. So be sure to complete this step by step. Skinning knife, kill a rabbit, marmot, or frog. Gather T2, T1 hide. Mercenary jacket, broadsword. Equip the broadsword. Okay. Select the ability and use the ability on training dummy. I think this is the tutorial, and this is where you get the tier 2 mount. Tier 2 mount somewhere along the way. I haven't done it myself, so because it's implemented this beta. That being said, once you get to here, you can wear everything tier 2. So I shouldn't say everything, that was my bad. Once you get to here, so it says leave the island and go to the town. That means you'll have to leave the starting zone. You know what? Here. Log out. Let me see if I can get the character out there and actually do this, so I can show you. So log in. Okay, so this is a new character. Okay, so this guy is a brand new character. Okay, well, go to Albion. So it says, as I said, three rough logs. So what I meant by going in order, say if I gather stone here, it doesn't count because I still gotta go step by step and gather the logs first. So gather the logs, 2, 3, and then gather the stone. Make the skinning knife. Kill a rabbit. Gather 8 hide. Okay. Get a mercenary jacket. create a broadsword. 6 stones and 6 logs. By the way, on the release, this is a good way to make money if you guys are interested in that. These tier 1 stone, they're very expensive, and you can make quite a bit of money off of this. Even later in the game, because when people upgrade buildings to higher tier, they need tons and tons of stone, and people are usually very lazy to gather and have money lying around them, so they just buy it. But yeah, that's a good way to make money. Keep that in mind if you guys are interested in that. Okay, so broadsword, equip the broadsword, and select an ability. I think that's 2 here. Use an ability on the dummy. Just do here. Okay, so now leave the island and go to the town. So let's go out here. We'll get into the destiny board in a minute here. Okay, so as you can see, everything is unlocked. Now if I go to destiny board, okay, so I'm here. This is main point unlocked. Now, straight above, this is your adventure level. This determines what tier horses you can wear, what kind of capes and bags you can wear. Rare mounts too, of course, as you move along. And this is what is determined by that. So keep in mind that. From the center, this line over here, this is a Reaver line. So Journeyman's Reaver, Adept's Reaver, this gives you offensive buff and defensive buff against mobs. And also expedition, you can go higher tier expedition the higher Reaver you have. As you can see, tier 3 gives 15% damage increase versus creatures tier 3 or higher, and then defense versus creature tier 2 or higher. So as you move along, for example, what that means is that T5 Reaver won't apply to T4 and T3 mobs. It will only apply to T5 or higher. And then T8, of course, is 100%, which is drastic. This is very important for taking damage from mobs. If you don't have these are crucial. If you don't have these, then you're gonna get slaughtered by the mobs very easily. The tanks especially need to have this. Very important. Okay, so that's the Reaver. This is the middle, right? This is the center. On this side over here, on the left side, everything is you can wear up top. Weapons, armors, the things you can wear. On the right side, on the other hand, is things you can craft. So melee, range, mage, things you can craft in the area, and then tool crafting, accessory crafting, and then refining. This is gathering over here, mounts, crops, so growing vegetables and stuff, herbs, so for potions, cooking, potion making, very important, good way to make money, of course. This is melee armor, melee weapons, range armor, range weapons, mage armor, and mage weapons. And this over here is melee armor crafting, melee weapon crafting, range armor crafting, range weapon crafting, and mage armor crafting and mage weapon crafting. So that is the basics. Now, the important thing on the release is that let's say you have a gear that is mixed, so you're wearing tier 3 melee items mixed with range items. You need to individually level them up or unlock them before you can just wear those particular items and then level them. So what I mean by that is that, for example, to unlock tier 3 range weapon, it says kill tier 2 plus kill creatures of tier 2 or above wearing a novice bow. So to unlock a range weapon, you need to fame with this bow here, tier 2 bow. Now, tricky part is the armor. When you have mixture of armor, for example, let's say if I want to wear a shield with my mage robe and melee helmet and shoes. So what I would have to do is, first of all, to unlock shield, which is in the weapons tab right here, this is the shield, I would have to unlock this stage first. So that means wearing a T2 sword and then unlocking this branch. And then when I have this branch, I can wear that shield and not have to worry about the rest. Then I can focus solely on shield. But first I have to use the T2 broadsword to unlock that tier 3 shield. And then for melee helmet and shoes, I would have to unlock this branch here, which says use the T2 metal armor and then fame up and unlock the T3. Once I unlock the T3, then I can use these particular shoes and helmet to level on their own individual. This for helmet and this for shoes. Then I don't have to worry about the chest piece. But you do have to wear the tier 2 chest piece to unlock the tier 3. And then the things separate into tier 4, so no problem there. And I would have to do the same thing for mage robe. I would have to level up with a tier 2 mage robe, tier 2 scholar robe, and then get to tier 3, and then I can separate from tier 3 and focus on that individually. See? Now the scholar robe are better. So that is the tricky part. A lot of confusion there from players usually, and I can understand why. And of course, same thing applies with crafting. Crafting is a bit easier, of course, because it makes sense. You have to craft tier 2 things first to get into the line, and then you can specialize. Now, specialties. A lot of questions about that. So the inner nodes. All right. This is the center node. This is the tier 2 node. So the inner circle is the tier 2, and then is the tier 3. So this is the tier 3. This is the tier 3. So this circle here is tier 3. And then it separates into tier 4. This here. This circle is the main tier branch. These are the nodes that you can level up to T8, or what counts towards T8. So if I were to click on this mage robe, for example, this fame line, you see 0 out of 100? 100 is T8, and you can track it here. This is the main line, the main tree, if you will. Here, this is the important part, the passive bonuses. Each mastery in this particular robe will give me 0.2 bonus to item powers for all cloth robes. 0.2 is not that much. 100 item power is about 1 tier, so 0.2 item power per mastery is pretty small, but it does add up. The real problem is the masteries. So the outer circle. This represents the masteries in the individual armors and weapons that you're wearing. So let's say this mage robe covers all the mage robes. But let's say I mainly focus on mage robes. So mage robe mastery here. This one, on the other hand, gives, not only does it give 0.2 bonus to 0.2 bonus item power to all cloth robes, but it also gives 2 specialization to mage robes alone, and that is major. That is major. Because if you have 100 specialty, and you have 2 per mastery, that's 200 item power, so that's 2 tiers above, and then 0.2, which is 20 masteries, if you will. So that's 220 item power bonus to mage robe, which is 2 tiers, 2.2 tiers, if you will. And then if you have that 100, then you're obviously going to have the main tier at 200 as well, which is another 20, so that's 240. So that's almost 2.5 tiers above, just from specialty alone. And this gives a major edge when fighting against high tier players. This is this concept applies to everything, all these weapons and armors. So do be mindful of that fact, that specialty do matter. And of course, the fame for this is much higher than the basic one. Obviously, it's half as much. You see, level 1 for the main tree line is 25k, and for specialty is 50k, so it's twice as much. It's definitely not easy to get, but it's well worth it. So that is specialties. Another fact that is not very well known is the artifacts. Let's see. Where are the artifacts? Let's stick with the robes example. So there are supposed to be 3 tiers of artifact in game: the Blue Dungeon artifacts, the Hellgate artifacts, and the Raid artifacts. The Raid artifacts have not been implemented in game yet, but we do have the Blue Dungeon and the Hell artifact. So Blue Dungeon artifact is here. For armors, for Mage Robe is the Jewish Robe, is the Blue Dungeon artifact, which are crafted using runes. You can craft these artifacts by transmuting runes. Hellgate artifacts are much rarer, and they can be transmuted by using souls, which are obviously more expensive, and these are harder to get, also worth quite a bit more. The main benefit is that the Blue Dungeon artifact are 1 tier above the regular. So T4 Jewish Robe is 1 tier above T4 Mage Robe. So tier 4 Jewish Robe is equivalent to T5 Mage Robe, is what I'm saying. And the Hellgate artifact, so T4 Fiend Robe, for example, would be 2 tiers above tier 4 Mage Robe, so it would be equivalent to T6 Mage Robe. And that is as you can see, the item power. Mage Robe is 700 item power, and tier 4 Fiend Robe is 900 item power. Now, the less known fact, which is very shitty, it sucks because it really does tone down the power of the Hellgate artifacts, is the fact that when you enchant these artifacts, so what I mean by that is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, each enchantment is one tier, represents 1 tier. So going from tier 4 to 4.1 is same thing as going from tier 4 to tier 5. But in Hellgate artifacts case, that's not true. It doesn't give you that 100 item power, that full 100 item power. And I'll show you an example of that here. Where's the auction house? Oh yeah, this is another less known fact. If you want to check specific stats of a specific weapon with specific enchantment, all you can do is go to auction house, go to order, and then go to create buy order. And you have access to all the items in game here. So what I meant by that was just go to armor, cloth armor, and tier 4. Okay. Here we go. So tier 4 right here, 700 item power, right? 700 item power, you see? 4.1 has 800 item power. So enchantments, as you can see, plus 100 enchantments. Now, if I go to Fiend's Robe, for example, 4.1 Fiend's Robe, only 48 enchantment. So that's half a tier less when you enchant a Hellgate artifact. Same thing applies to the Blue Dungeon artifacts as well. Only 80, not the 400. It's better than the Hellgate artifact, but it's still less than the regular artifact. And this thing goes down as you go higher enchantment. So it's 48 for 0.1. If I go to 4.2 Fiend Robe, it's 96 enchantment. So that's combined. That's 0.1 and 0.2 is only 96, while the regular one is 200. The regular Mage Robe, let's see, 4.2. If I go to enchantment, it's plus 200, as you can see. That's a tier higher, just there, right there. And then if you go to 0.3, that's gonna be 280, while the Fiend Robe is only gonna be 136. That's a drastic difference. And also the fact that raising the specialty, the N tier specialty for Hellgate artifact is tough, very very tough. So that is also benefits of using just a regular armor. Is it usually ends up being stronger than the Hellgate artifacts. But if you have specific ability that you want from Hellgate artifact, then obviously you're gonna have to use that. But I'll show you what I mean by that. If I were to go to artifact, look at the specialty, 150k for the first level, while the regular Mage Robe is only 50k. That's 3 times more, and it will get higher and higher as you go along on the mastery. So that is a major key when you're trying to determine what you want to wear. Do be mindful of that differences. So that is the major thing that I wanted to talk about the artifacts and the item power differences. Let's see if I can remember anything else I want to talk about. Okay, that is it for the Destiny board and those explanations. I think the next video I'll be making is about personal islands, the city plots, and all that stuff. So peace out. Hope this helped. If you guys have questions or comments, just reply on the forums or just PM me. Either way is fine. I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Alright guys, see you in the next video. Hopefully this helps you out. And do give feedbacks, guys. I don't usually do tutorial videos, so it was helpful to know if I'm doing something wrong or if I can clarify. So peace out.